All right, I apologize. My phone died on me. All right, writing these in order. So from least to greatest, we have 2 times 2 times 5. Now we need to match the socks. So let's see what they share. Ooh, they share a 2 and they share a 5. Now we're going to pull 1 from each of them. We have a 2 and we also have a 5. We're going to multiply those together. 2 times 5 is 10. So Mariah's greatest common factor is 10. Now let's see about Cameron. So for Cameron, I'm going to do green here. All right, 12 and 18. 12, you can do many different things. You could do 6 times 2. You can do 3 times 4. I'm going to do 3 times 4. 3 is a prime number because the only 2 factors are 1 in itself. 4, you can break it down again. 4 is 2 times 2. 2 is a prime number, so circle it. All righty, we can't go any further there. I'm going to make my little table. 12 and 18. Now 12, in order from least to greatest, we have 2 times 2 times 3. 2 times 2 times 3. All right, 18. You can factor it different ways. You can do 9 times 2. You can do 6 times 3. Let's do 3 times 6 or 6 times 3. All right, 3 is a prime number. Circle it. 6 is not. 6 is not 3 times 3. Remember that. 6 is 2 times 3. 2 times 3, and both of those are prime numbers, so I'm circling them. In order from least to greatest, we have 2 times 3 times 3. All right, let's match our socks here and see what Cameron got. Okay, we have a 2 and then a 3. Nothing else that they share, so let's pull 1 from each. So we have a 2, we have a 3. We're going to multiply them. 2 times 3 is 6. So, who found a greatest common factor? Mariah did. So all you have to type in is Mariah. Circle it, star it, highlight it. Mariah is going to be your answer there. Alrighty, let's go to number 4 for our DMR, our Daily Math Review. Let me zoom out a little bit there. All right, so Drake and Josh are packing first aid supplies. It takes Jake 3 minutes to fill a box with bandages. It takes Josh 7 minutes to fill a box with antibiotics. If they started packing boxes at the same time, how long will it be before they start filling a new box at the same time? So, what we're going to need to do here, we are going to need to find the least common multiple, or the LCM, of 7 minutes and 3 minutes. So we need to figure out 3 and 7. We're going to list the multiples. Remember, multiples always starts with whatever the number we're doing times 1. So 3 times 1 is going to be 3. Our next multiple, 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, and so on. Now let's look at the multiples of 7. We have 7 times 1 is 7, then 14, then 21. Oh my goodness, I found a number that they both share. Woohoo! They both share let's do orange. They both share, the first number that they share is 21. So if they started packing boxes at the same time, it'll be 21 minutes before they start filling a new box at the same time. Awesome. So 21 minutes is your answer. Circle it, star. That'll be in your Google form. Let's look at number 5 while we're here as well. Write 2 equivalent expressions for 5 times the quantity of 3 plus 4 using the distributive property. Ooh, distributive property. I know what we can do. We can circle that number in front of the parentheses and we can distribute it. Oh my goodness. Let's distribute it so at each part inside of the parentheses. So when you distribute it, you're multiplying. So when you distribute to the first one, it would be 5 times 3. 5 times 3. So that's our first part. Now the symbol, we are going to keep it the same. It's an addition symbol, plus. So we're going to keep that plus there. And then the next part, 5 times 4. So I'm going to write out, it would be whatever 5 times 4 is. There's one expression that is equivalent or the same or equal to 5 times the quantity of 3 plus 4. Let's write another one. Ooh, we can simplify this a little more, an expression. So remember, our expression is not going to necessarily be the answer because that would be one number in this case. An expression, you must have at least some numbers and some math operations like a plus or subtraction or multiplication or division or something like that. That is included in our expression. We can simplify this a little bit more and still have a math operation in there. So another equivalent expression we could make, well, what is 5 times 3? 15. Easy peasy. We're going to just keep our plus. What's 5 times 4? Ooh, 20. There you go. There's 2 equivalent expressions. So in the Google form, you can write both of these expressions. Do not worry about the formatting too much. It is okay if you get it. If you mistype it, it's okay. Don't stress about it. Again, you can pause, rewind, whatever you need to do. I'm going to move on to air practice. All right, air practice. Number 6. Yay! Dividing fractions. What is the value of the following? 9/10 divided by 1/5. Ooh. When we divide fractions, remember the 3 most important words. Keep, change, flip. KCF. Kind of like our Kentucky Fried Chicken, but remember, it's the Kentucky Chicken Fried here. All right, so when we keep the first fraction, we're going to keep the first fraction. We're going to change the operation, and then we are going to flip the second fraction. So when we keep the first one, we get 9/10. 9 over 10. Change. Division becomes multiplication. And flip. So we just flip this instead of 1 over 5, the reciprocal, when you flip it, it'll be 5 over 1. Now, there are 2 ways you can go about this. There's many ways you can go about this. You can simplify before you multiply, or you can multiply and then simplify. So what I'm going to do first is when you just multiply straight across. So if you multiply straight across, you would have 9 times 5, which is 45. We can write that there. And then 10 times 1, which would be 10. Now, when you divide this, when we simplify, we can divide this. We can divide both by 5 if you want. So, 5, we can divide both by 5. We can start there. We'll do that. Because 5 can go into both. We're simplifying the fractions. And don't stress, we're going to do more of these. More of simplifying. 45 divided by 5 is 9. 10 divided by 5 is 2. We can't simplify anymore. So we have 9 over 2. However, or 9/2. However, we can make this into a mixed number. So when you have 9/2, you have 9 divided by 2. How many times can 2 go into 9? Well, it can go in 4 times. So 2 times 4 is 8. Subtract. 9 minus 8 is 1. And what we're going to have, since there's nothing else to bring down, you can put a decimal if you would like to, or we can just make this our new numerator of a fraction here. So 1, so it'd be 4 and 1/2. So 4.5 or 4 and 1/2. So what your answer is going to be is, okay, I'm going to write it right down here, 4.5 or 4 and 1/2. Also, if you do not want to do it that way and you want to simplify before you multiply, you can do that as well. If you do not worry about it, whichever way you want. So If you have 9/10, let's do green. If you have 9/10 times 5 first, or 5/1, I'm just rewriting what we started with when we flipped it. When you cross cancel, we can look diagonally. 1 and 9, can a number go into that besides 1? Nope. How about 5 and 10? Oh, well, 5 can go into both. So 5 can go into 5 one time. 5 can go into 10 2 times. Now we have it simplified. We can multiply straight across. 9 times 1 is 9. 2 times 1 is 2. So do you see how we got 9/2 or 9/2? We did it a slightly different way, but we still get the same answer, whichever way works for you. You can do that. And then we're back here. We can change it into a mixed number when you have a whole number and then a fraction. So 9/2 or 9 divided by 2 is the same as 4.5 or 4 5/10 or 4 1/2. So this will be what you will write in your Google form. And again, whichever way you solve it is up to you. Do not stress. Again, we are going to be practicing. All right, number 7. The equation shown has an unknown fraction. All right, so we don't know, divided by 5/6 equals 9/10. Write a fraction that makes the above equation true. So something divided by 5/6 is going to be 9/10. Well, if we don't know how to get there, we can say, okay, something divided by something equals 9/10. Well, we can do our little imaginary line over our equal sign. And what we can do the inverse operation to get rid of whatever we have with our unknown. So we have an unknown quantity here. You can also call it x if you want, whatever you would like to do. Divided by 5/6 equals 9/10. Well, what is the inverse or the opposite of division? Oh, multiplication. Oh, just like what we did on the other side. So we're going to multiply, both sides of that equation, that equal sign, by 5/6. So we're going to multiply by 5/6, multiply by 5/6. So 5/6, when you have your 5/6, and we are getting rid of it, so we're multiplying it from both sides, this will cancel out. So when you have 5, you're dividing by 5/6 and you multiply by 5/6. That will cancel out because we're trying to get rid of that side for our unknown. Now, when we look at 9/10 times 5/6, we are going to look at, well, I'm going to write it side by side. 9/10 times 5/6. That looks a little bit better. So we're going to have our unknown variable on the left side. We can bring that down. We still have that. Equals, I'm going to keep our equal sign. So then 9/10 times 5/6. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to multiply straight across. So when you have okay, so we can do this 2 different ways again, just like we did number 6. The first way I'll show you, 9 times 5, when you multiply straight across, is 45. And then 10 times 6 is 60. We can then simplify. We can divide both numerator and denominator by, we can divide by 5. For 45 divided by 5 and 60 divided by 5. So if we have 45 divided by 5, let's say we don't know what 45 divided by 5 is. Some students might not. Well, oh my goodness, we can look at a pattern here, just like what we did with the last one. 5, oh, we have a 5 here. So 9 times 5 is 45. So in our same little family here, our math family, 45 divided by 5 is going to be 9. Well, let's say you don't know 60 divided by 5, and this isn't really helping us over here. Well, easy. We can just go up off to the side and say, oh, 60 divided by 5. Do not be afraid to write it out if you do not know. That is okay. 5 can go into 6. We know this way. 5 can go into 6. Oh, one time. Easier. 5 times 1 is 5. We are going to subtract. 6 minus 5 is 1. Bring down your 0. 5 goes into 10 2 times. 5 times 2 is 10. 0 remainder, and we have nothing else to bring down. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. 5 times 12. 60 divided by 5 would be 12. Now, that looks a lot better. So now we can simplify that even more. 9 twelfths, or 9 divided by 12. We can divide both the numerator and denominator. Well, 3 can go into both. So let's divide by 3. 9 divided by 3 is going to be 3. 12 divided by 3 is going to be 4. So our answer is 3/4, or 3 divided by 4. Now, another way that we can simplify this, just like what we did on the other side when we had 9/10 times 5/6. Another way we could do is cross cancel. Well, a 10 and 5, 5 can go into both. So 5 goes into 5 one time, 5 goes into 10 2 times. Again, do not worry if you do not want to do this way. You do not have to. Same thing here, 9 and 6. Oh, I know a 3 can go into both. So a 3 can go into 6 2 times, because 3 times 2 is 6. 3 can go into 9 3 times, because 3 times 3 is 9. Now, let's take a look here. When you multiply straight across, let's figure out, let's do green. When you multiply straight across, 3 times 1 is 3. 2 times 2 is 4. Would you look at that? We got 3/4 again. So same answer, different ways to get it. It's whatever you prefer. Again, you can pause, whatever you need to do. Alrighty, let's move on to number 8. Let's zoom out a little bit here. Number 8 is, it says, choose 2 questions that can be answered by determining the value of 2 1/2 divided by 1/4. So, A, Monica has 2 1/2 pizzas left over from a party. Her father eats 1/4 of the pizzas, or 1/4 of the pizza. Well, if he eats 1/4 of the pizza, that's subtracting. So we're taking it away. So that's not it. Not A. B, Jennifer has 2 1/2 inches of space on her desk shelf. Each of her school folders takes up 1/4 of an inch. How many folders can she put on her shelf? Oh, so we're going to take that whole length of the shelf, 2 1/2, and we're going to divide it up into 1/4 inches. 2 1/2 divided by 1/4. Yep. So B is one of our answers. But it says, the instructions say, choose the 2 questions that can be answered by determining this value. So we only have 1. Jeremy has 2 1/2. This is C. Jeremy has 2 1/2 cups of raisins, and he wants to make 1/4 cup servings. How many servings can he make? Well, let's see. 2 1/2 cups of raisins, and he wants to make 1/4 cup servings. So if he wants to divide them up into 1/4 cups each, we'll be dividing. Ooh, yes, I think that's it. But I want to double check that D is not the correct answer. So let's skip ahead to D. So Stuart does 2.5 hours of homework before dinner. Whoa, that's a lot. He does another 1/4 hour of homework after dinner. So he's adding on another 1/4 hour. Not D. So we are correct that C is also our correct answer. So our correct answers here are B and C. That's all you have to write in your answer document. Again, make sure you can review this. You can look back. Also, when you are doing the Google Forms for the graded part, the graded portion, you can take those as many times as you want to get the grade that you want. Do not forget that. You can also review this video to help you if it'll help you. All right, till next time.